What's up, everybody? It's Justin again. Today I'll be talking to you guys about the Florida fighting conch. The Florida fighting conch is native to our area in Southwest Florida, right on the coast. So I thought it was pretty fitting to choose this species because I love collecting these species and finding them in the wild. They're very fun. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get right into it. So the Florida fighting conch, scientifically Strombus alatus, is a marine snail found in Southwest Florida. In shallow sandy waters and seagrass beds. It has a thick spiral shell that's usually orange or tan and can grow up to 4 inches long. Instead of sliding, it hops across the seafloor, which is different than most mollusks in the area. And it eats our algae, which keeps our seagrasses healthy. And their empty shells also become homes for hermit crabs. Though they're not endangered, they face threats from pollution, habitat loss, and shell collecting. So protecting the coastal habitat is very important. This conch has a robust shell, like I said, that's up to 4 inches long or 110 millimeters. It often displays spinal ribs when young and smoother, It often displays spinal ribs when young and smoother surfaces when they get older. The shell color varies from light orange or light brown, orange, white, tan, and juveniles show ornate spirals in a lighter color. It uses a muscular foot to move in sort of a leap style. And it has long eye stalks that detect threats. The shell's heavy shape provides protection and camouflage in its sandy habitat. Geographically, they're found in shallow, warm waters in Southwest Florida, and the Florida fighting conch lives on sandy flats and seagrass beds, from around the Gulf Coast all the way down to the Keys. It's especially common around Sanibel and Captiva Islands, so right in our backyard. The Florida fighting conch helps the seagrass beds stay healthy by grazing on the algae and detritus that would otherwise smother the plants. Its empty shells become homes for hermit crabs and other species in the area. And their shells provide a lot for the biodiversity in the area. So if the conchs disappeared, the algae would build up, the seagrass would decline, and many small animals would lose shelter and food sources, which would disrupt the entire coastal food web. Affecting animals as big as manatees all the way down to hermit crabs that can fit on your fingertip. Florida fighting conchs are primary consumers. Like I said, they eat algae, plankton, and detritus with a tiny toothed tongue called a radula, and they're eaten by larger predators like crabs, rays, and some fish. Their energy comes from sunlight captured by the algae they eat, so they help transfer the energy from plants to the higher levels of the food chain. These conchs reproduce in the shallow, warm waters that they live in, especially in the spring and summer. They lay long, coiled strings of eggs, thousands of eggs actually, that stick to sand or seagrasses. And then after hatching, the larvae drift to the top in the ocean as a plankton for a few weeks before settling onto the seafloor where they grow into juveniles. Their slow growth and late maturity make them sensitive to overharvesting. Some fun facts. The fighting name actually comes from their strong, thick shells, not their behavior. If you've ever walked the beaches down here and you've stepped on something, chances are it's probably a Florida fighting conch. Their shells are very pointy, very spiky, kind of painful, but they're just one of the things you can always tell when they're around because you can feel them. They're not actually aggressive. You can pick these guys up. They're totally fine. But they get that fighting name just based off how spiky their shell is and how good of defense they have. Another fun fact is that they move by hopping rather than sliding, and they use their hard operculum like a lever. Their shells are popular with beachcombers, especially in this area. You'll see a lot of people who go shelling come home with at least a couple of these. I love finding the juvenile shells that have the striping on them because you don't really see those as often. Obviously only harvesting them when no one's home, but because it is illegal to collect live conchs here. However, a lot of people take their shells off the beaches because they are quite a nice shell. They can live up to 7 years and spend much of their life grazing on the seafloor. And so in Florida, it's illegal to catch them, and that's just to help protect local populations due to their slow growth. We really want to keep these guys in the environment. They're extremely important for all of our species, like I said before. So that's about all I got for you today about the Florida fighting conch. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.